listening to the 10 Questions with the Musical Mind podcast with your host, Peter Harris.
Hello, Ed. How are you today?
I'm very good, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us.
No problem.
I want to start off with, I'm going to jump all over the map chronologically a little bit, but a lot of musicians, it seems they have mixed feelings about their early work. Do you ever personally revisit your early stuff like Sliding Gliding World and stuff, and how does that hold up for you, going back and listening to stuff like that?
Well, without trying to sound conceited, I actually really like it.
Mm-hmm.
I often listen to the old stuff that I've done, and some of it, with a minority of it, sort of, I can't listen to anymore. But most of it I really still like, actually.
Yeah. Is that when you can't listen to it, you say, is that more of a, is it a compositional thing, or is it I don't like that sound I use, or I don't like those effects?
It's more to do with tracks that I've played live, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, when I hear tracks that I've played live, I can sort of enjoy them, but also part of me is thinking it sounds a bit more like work because I've had to play it live so many times.
Okay.
I'm sort of doing almost like a mental rehearsal when I hear it, thinking this bit has to happen there, and this keyboard bit, and that guitar bit, and this.
I can see that, yeah, because you're actually having to duplicate everything live that we did piecemeal in the studio. Yeah, that makes sense.
I do love doing it, but it's a different state of mind for me.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I've seen you live and it doesn't come across that way to the audience. So,
right, thank you.
Now, guitar-wise, how much has your gear changed over the years? Like instruments, I mean, do you tend to...
Guitars come and go, they wear out,
Sure.
I normally have two electric guitars, one acoustic guitar, and when one breaks or is getting weaker, I'll buy another one, but I'm not an avid guitar collector or anything like that.
Gotcha, so you keep it pretty minimal.
Yeah, I like to have what I need. I don't like to have too many. I'm not one of these people who likes to have a room full of gear and wonder which guitar to play this morning. I just grab the nearest one and use that,
Okay, yeah, that's interesting. Now, your solo album is due soon. Do you have guidelines when you're working on a solo album? Do you have a mental thing like, okay, I need to keep this separate or differentiated from Nodens, Ictus, and Ozric? Or, do you have like ideas like, I don't think this would be right for Ozric Tentacles, that kind of thing?
It's hard to say because when I make tunes, I really start a tune without any preconception of which actual place it's going as to what it's going to be labelled as, I often try to make Nodens Ictus albums, and they turned out Ozric albums because I end up with a guitar and drums all over it, and vice versa, So not really, no. The difference with this one being that I'm sort of just with myself, making all the overdubs and doing all my own self, which is really fun, actually, for me. It's really fun.
Yeah, I can see that. Okay. Well, that's probably the most honest way to create. I mean, to not set parameters and just let it flow is probably the most genuine way to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, I just follow the tunes, really, and see where they want to go most of the time.
Yeah, okay.
Occasionally I'll reach a fork in the path where it could be this track or that track, depending on what you do, and that's always an interesting little dilemma.
Yeah.
I often thought about making different versions of the same song, if it had gone the other way, if you decided to go heavy instead of light at that point or whatever,
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that definitely. Now, your music's always taken me on a mental journey.
Good.
Do you envision like visual soundscapes in your mind when you're performing? I mean, does that enter into it for you?
Basically, yes. You've hit the nail on the head there. That's pretty much exactly the way I visualize it inside my head when I'm doing it. Yeah, there's like the background and then peripherals and a bit of a breeze in the background and a couple of foreground objects doing stuff. And yeah, very visual.
Awesome. Yeah. Yeah, that's
they're like little windows into places sometimes. If you're standing up or something,
Well, that's good to know because that's what it's always represented to me, and that's cool to know. That's what you're envisioning when you're playing it and composing it. Now, who was influential to you when you were young and learning to play? Because you have a very unique sound, you always have.
Right. All the good guitarists, really.
Mm-hmm.
and never obsessed by one in particular. More like individual little bits of what individual guitarists have done, you know.
Sure.
When I was young, it was kind of Jimi Hendrix and Santana and Richie Blackmore and all these people. Then there was a bit of a lull there during the 80s where guitarists had to hide a little bit. Then I like people like Steve Vai and Guthrie Govan and stuff like that. That's who I like nowadays. And also, well, my main influence, I think probably of all of them, would be Steve Hillage from Gong. There's a band called Gong, and he was the guitarist, and he did solo stuff, and that was when it really started to settle in my mind, sort of the direction I wanted to go, really.
Yeah. I really only became aware of Gong through Alan Holdsworth's brief interaction with him.
There's a player of guitar.
Yeah.
And he mystifies me. I'm amazed by him when I watch him.
Oh, everybody was, yeah.
Yeah, where do those notes come from?
You know, one of the best quotes I ever heard by him, somebody asked him what his fret reach was. Like, you know, what he could stretch to, what notes. And he said, I don't actually know, and I don't want to, because then I won't try to reach a certain note.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
That's a good answer.
Yeah, it's a very good answer. Now, how current do you stay with technology? Like, are you recording everything digitally, Pro Tools and Synths and all that? And was there a switch over from your early days? You know, you start off in analog and...
Yeah, I grew up with analog, starting 4-track, then went 8-track, then went 24-track, and enjoyed it a lot, but I got a little bit... It's a heavy, clunky old system, really.
Sure.
I mean, those reels of 24-track 2-inch tape, they have 15 minutes time on them, and you can't carry more than 3.
Yeah.
And when you think, now you can fit some of the entire collection of music they've ever made on your fingernail, it's a different story, you know. So I really like it, and I am digital now. But I like to hope with a slightly analog mentality, because I was brought up with analog limitations.
Sure.
Which I think is a good thing. And so I've learned to sort of like, I don't know, I do it in the same way. I just pretend that computers are tape recorder. And use it the same way, but with a bit more convenience. You know, if you erase something, it's all right, you can grab it back. Unlike with tape, where if you erase it by mistake, push the wrong button, it's gone, and that's end of story, you know.
Right. Or if you splice it in the wrong area, or you cut off something.
I've done this as well. I've spliced out bits, and I've kept all the little bits of tape in a row stuck to the machine in case I need to put them back, you know.
Oh,
crazy.
Interesting, yeah. And there was a real purist movement for decades where, you know, analog sounds better and it sounds warmer and that kind of thing. And I think that's starting to go away as the digital has improved, because the convenience is undeniable. It's just, I was editing some stuff the other day on, you know, my computer, and just thinking back to when I had a little Tascam 4-track cassette and trying to play something 6 times and then dump that on there and play a lead over it, and you're just so limited to what you can do. And
sure,
yeah.
I mean, it's funny because when I had the analog stuff, when I had the 24-track, I remember I used to just plug a bass in and record it, and plug drums in and record them, and it sounded fantastic. And you can tweak them again after that with your mixing desk or whatever. Analog, it doesn't guarantee it's going to sound quite as good as that. You have to work a little more with your EQs to make them work with the analog thing, I think, a little bit maybe.
Right. Now, are there creative outlets or mediums outside of music you enjoy, like you really participate in, or just enjoy, like whether it be literature or movies or hiking or whatever?
I like watching movies and literature and things as a sort of casual thing.
Mm-hmm.
I like to cook. That's pretty much it, really.
Yeah. And I can see the movies things.
Pretty much music is my sphere of stuff, and everything else is a little bit around the edges sometimes.
That makes, I mean,
I try and pull out from there and connect with the world as well, as best I can when it needs. I'll go exploring in nature and stuff as well.
Right. Well, now, what part of, you were in Colorado for a while. What part were you in?
I was north east of Colorado, of Denver. Yeah.
Okay.
Up in the Rocky Mountains up there.
Yeah.
Near Fort Collins, about sort of an hour's drive into the mountains from Fort Collins.
Yeah. I used to live in Evergreen on the Front Range right there. Little town near, not too far from Golden and
I know, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that was pretty much the same zone.
Yeah, same area. Yeah.
Very nice part of the world.
Yes, very, very beautiful. Very beautiful. Now, with your blips and blurbs, as I like to call it, are there any like nature sounds that you want to use? And a lot of it, some of it's synth produced, but you'd like to work with in a future song, like a particular animal or textural sound that you just have heard where you're like, ooh, I need to use that in a song. I know that's kind of random sounding, but
yeah, I mean, there's a couple I've used. There's a couple on one of our tapes, one of our early ones. There is nothing. There was a bird called the capercaillie bird, which is Scottish in nature, which is where I am at the moment, and I haven't found them yet, but they're apparently around there in the Highlands. And they got a weird noise. They sort of sound like kind of a long tube with a ball at the end of it being rattled down a tube. You got it's really bizarre sound. So that was good, but that I happened to be given a tape of that ages ago, so I used that. And I don't know, maybe occasionally I hear nature. I do go out with a recorder quite a lot and record atmospheric things, you know, like waterfalls and birds and stuff, and have used quite a lot of that.
Yeah, that's really interesting. The thing with waterfalls is it really is depending. Does it come across as static or?
Yeah, tape it sounds like.
Yeah, that's the problem with water. You have to get just the right.
Sure, and my God, I've got so many different bits of water on recorded for all different reasons, you know.
Right.
And as you say, yeah, most of them are when it's gentle, when it's a little trickle or it's gentle waves, it sounds more descriptive, more like you can see the dots.
Right. Yeah, you have to hear individual, the percussive hit of water against the surface for it to not come across as a hit. Yeah. Now, do you think the fluid membership of Ozric has helped you keep the improvisation fresh for you after all these years? Like, if you'd stayed a static lineup, do you think that would have gotten stale at some point, or do you think that's helped or hindered in any way? Or
well, I think every time there's a new lineup change, it's always a very freaky thing, really, because it's like, oh, someone's gone, we need to replace that person. Oh my God, what are we going to do? I hope they can do it. Who's going to do it? And this, and that, and the other.
Right.
But yes, thankfully, so far, the people who've joined in the band have been inspiring because they bring their own little flavour, you know.
Right.
And it's quite fun. You sit down and jam and think, oh, you can do that. Right, you do that. Do that then, you know. And it's very, very refreshing.
Yeah, I can see even just if a new drummer has a different sound to his snare or something could be inspirational in a way.
Sure.
Yeah.
Completely.
Yeah. Now, last of all, I want to get to the new album, Shimmer into Nature.
Mm-hmm.
What are is that imminent release? What are your plans going into 2019?
5 days.
5 days. Okay. So nothing's changed there. So what are your plans going into 2019? Tour behind it or?
Yeah, I might be going on tour in May, I think.
Okay.
For a couple of weeks in England, and possibly think about something more major at the end of summer.
Okay.
And hopefully doing a few festivals during the summer. Don't know if I'll be getting stateside. Hopefully, if I can.
I hope so. Yeah, I would love to see you over here. Be sure to hit somewhere in Tennessee if you make it over here.
That's where you are now, aren't you?
Yes. I'm in Knoxville, but Nashville's not too far of a drive, so.
Sounds very, very exotic from here in Scotland.
No, Scotland sounds a little more exotic. Although, if it helps, it's raining here now, so it probably it'd probably feel at home.
Pretty much same here.
Yeah.
So
you'd be right at home. Yeah. Well, I would love to see you hit stateside again, but I'll be looking forward to the new release and any surprises you think off the new album that something we won't be expecting?
Well, hard for me to say.
Yeah.
Wait and see, I'd say.
Yeah. So there's no polka number or anything outrageous.
No, maybe the next one. If I do another live one, then I'll do anything I like. Then it'll be sort of free jazz, polka style, anything.
Right, there you go. I'm sure you would have an interesting take on it. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Well, it's been a delight, and I've certainly enjoyed your music over the years. A good friend of mine and I actually did a project in college back in the early '90s to Dance of the Lumi. So we've been doing things off. We've been inspired by music for decades. So It's
that's nice.
it's been a real honor. Been a real honor. So thanks again for joining us. I look forward to the album. And by all means, anytime you're always welcome on the show to update us on things.
Okay, cool.
All right. Thank you so much, Ed.
Cheers. Thank you very much.
All right. Bye-bye.
See ya.